Hey, what's up musers? This is John at Muse for You, and I'm really excited to be doing today's video tutorial. It's another widget, and I've been having so much fun creating widgets, and I'm really excited to be showing you this widget today. The widget is called Prism Effect Slider. It's the Prism Effect Slider widget, and I'll actually show you a few examples of it. So if we go to museforyoushop.com, and I'll close this here, and we just go to shop, and it's right here in the shop. And actually my shop has changed a little bit too. I've made it easier to purchase widgets, and now you don't need PayPal to purchase widgets. You can use your credit card or whatever card you'd like through Stripe. Yeah, I've integrated my shop a bit better so that it's easier to purchase items in my shop, or widgets and animations and menus and icon sets. Okay, so here's the Prism Effect Slider. Here's the cover art for it. So if I just click on it and then I click preview here, I can preview the widget. So here it is. Here's the diamond shaped version of it. The slider's right here, and here's the navigation down here. So if I click on the button, you can see it slides, and we have kind of that prism effect with the diamond. This widget is pretty much unlimited. It's very like, so many things you can do with it, and I'll show you in a second. Like, you can take the way it works with SVG masks. So this diamond here is actually right here. It's these three images. We have this red one, this green one, and this one right here, and they're called masks, and they're just SVG shapes. It doesn't matter what color you make them or anything, as long as they're SVG, it'll use the shape and it'll use it to make this effect. And I'm going to go through the widget. I mean, it's just so many things you can do with it. I'm going to try to make this video short, but if you do decide to purchase this widget, I've created a really nice user guide that goes through the whole widget and how to use it and the different aspects of it. So this is the first example here, and I'll go to example one. There's another example here. You can style the buttons to any color, the navigation buttons. You can move the navigation buttons up and down on the slider, or below the slider, or above the slider. And then I'll go to example 2 here, and here's another SVG shape. I've actually created this one. I downloaded a kind of 3D image from Dollar Photo Club, and then I used it as an SVG mask for this effect. So like, you can use any shape and have this effect going. And the way it works, because it's on the mask, you can rotate the image on the mask to get like these different kind of prism effects that like just look really interesting and can blow your mind, and it's just like awesome. So yeah, I'm kind of like just geeking out a little bit, but yeah, it's really cool, and you can do all this stuff with it. All right, so that's the widget. That's the example of it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and show you the different options in the widget in Adobe Muse, and then I'll go ahead and actually create a mask. So let's say you see the widget and you like it, and you say, okay, I have the shape in my mind that I want to use as a mask for the images to create a prism effect. So first I'll show you the widget options. So I'll just go into Adobe Muse. I'll go to Library, and then right here I have it, Muse for You Prism Slider Effect Widget. And when you first get the widget, if you decide to download it, you get there's license agreement, the user guide, there's the mulib file, and there's the sample mask. You get 5 sample masks with the widget, and to install the widget, you simply click on Muse for You Prism Effect Slider, the .mulib file, and it'll install the widget. It's that easy, very easy. And the license agreement just goes over some of the licensing and all that stuff, and a few different things like that, but mainly you'll just be focusing on the .mulib file, and the if you need the user guide as well, you'll get the user guide. All right, so that's it for that widget, like the folder and everything. So I have it here in my library panel, so I'm simply going to click, hold, and drag and place it into Adobe Muse, and there we go. So there's the widget. It looks very simple. You just see 2 circles there, and to check out the widget options, you just click on the blue circle with the arrow, and here are the different options. You can set the image width and the image height. So let's say you want your slider to be a specific image width and an image height. You would just set that here, and this is very important. Like, for your SVG mask, they have to have the same width and height in order for the mask to be proportional, and I'll show you that in a second. And then you can flip, the first mask. What this means is that like you get the shape of the SVG and the image goes on it, and then how do you want to flip it? You can flip it on the X and Y axis. You can rotate it 360 degrees forward or negative 360 degrees backwards, right here in the rotate section. And you can add 3 different masks. And then you can change the easing. There's a few different easing functions to kind of change how the slider comes in and comes out. Comes in and just the easing of it. And then you can make it like really slow. You can make the slide move really slow into the next one. And the number of images, this is really important. This lets you specify how many images you want in your slider. And you can add up to 8 images. And if you want 5 images, then select 5. And it's very important that if you do select 5, that you have 5 images here. Otherwise the widget will be like looking for that 5th file, and it'll kind of like hiccup a little bit. It won't want to work too well because it's looking for that fifth image. So it's very important that if you set the number of images, that you actually add those images right here below. And you can see we have image 1 through 8, and this is where you'll add your images. So we have that, and then we can change the navigation background color to any color we'd like. We can change the navigation active, so when the navigation is actually selected on that image, we can change it to any color. And we can change the navigation border color. Let me change it to like, it's not going to look too great because I'm just selecting different colors here. And then we have the navigation border type. We can do a few different navigation border types. And just you can mess around with that and see what you like, and things like that. And just different things. I'll do outset. That looks pretty cool. You can do dotted and things like that. And then we have navigation border radius. You can set it to 50. When you set it to 50, you pretty much get a perfect circle, but you can set it up to 100 because it's in percentage. It's in a percentage, so you can do up to 100% and get like a perfect circle. 50 still gives you a perfect circle, but if you do 0, you get a square for the navigation buttons. So we can do that. We'll leave it at 0, just to show kind of the flexibility of the different options here of the widget. And then you can set the navigation border width. It's in pixels. So let's say I want a bigger border on the navigation. I can set like 5, and my navigation border will be a bit bigger. And you can set the navigation width. I'd recommend setting the width and the height the same to get like a perfect circle or a perfect square. So I'll do like 28 by 28. Right now you can't see it, but when we preview it, it'll be the squares will be a bit bigger. And then we can set the navigation position. I'm gonna leave this at -60 for now, and I'll come back to this. And then you can here is where you'll add your images. So I'm gonna click Add File, and I'm just gonna select some images here. And I got these images from unsplash.com. So I'm just gonna add 5 images. Very simple. And nice. All right, so I've added my images. The one thing I haven't done is added my masks yet. So here I can add the first mask, and so I'll go to my masks folder, and I'll select, let's see, sample mask 1A, and sample mask 1B, sample mask 1C. All right, so these are the 3 masks, and they create that 3D shape. And they're all SVG, and I'll create one in this video to show you how to do it. Yeah, and because it's set to 1200 by 960, it's gonna stay in that proportion. And what I mean by that is that if I make this, the widget wider, simply by selecting and dragging, it'll make the image in proportion to the 1200 by 960. So if we look at the width and height, it's 595 by 476, which is proportional to 1200 by 960. So yeah, you can play with the width and height and just see what works best for you. So now if I hit Command-Shift-E to preview in the browser, there is my widget, and I can go through the images, and really awesome, I have that effect going. And you can see the buttons are a bit bigger, and if I go back in here, I can make them back to 18 by 18. And here I can change the navigation position. We can see it a bit better now because I've made the widget bigger. Let's say I want to move the buttons up higher. I'll just set it to 0. and now the buttons are in the middle, or I can say, you know, a little bit lower, I can say like -100, and the buttons will be below the image. So now if I hit Command-Shift-E to preview in the browser, there are my buttons below the image. Awesome, looks really great. Cool, cool. I'll set it back to -60 because I like it being right below the image, or right like above the end of the image. All right, one more time, I'll hit Command-Shift-E to preview in the browser. And awesome. Such a fun widget, such a fun effect. I really like it. So that's it for the example section there. Now I'm actually going to show you how to create an SVG mask so that you can create your own mask and create your own 3D effect or whatever effect or shape you want to use for the widget. So I'm going to, and mostly 3D effects look probably the coolest. So yeah, I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to minimize this, and I actually have an image that I downloaded from dollarphotoclub.com, and there's a link to it below in the description area. But if I open this with Adobe Illustrator, so I'm going to right click, open with, and it's fetching now. Let's see, open with, there we go, Adobe Illustrator, and it's opening. Okay, so here is the image. I've opened it in Adobe Illustrator, and we can see we have a bunch of 3D effects, which is why I love this image. You know, I'm not able to include it because it was downloaded from Dollar Photo Club, but if you do want access to it, just go to dollarphotoclub.com, and you have this image with just a bunch of cool shapes, 3D shapes. So something interesting that I want to try for this this video tutorial is using one of these numbers. So I'm going to select like this number 2 right here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to say File, New, and I already have the width set to 1200 and the height to 960. So you do want to set it to the width and height that you want your slider to be, and you can make the slider 100% width. So let's say you did want it 100% width. You'd probably want to do it like 500 pixels in height, and then make all your images, you know, that size, like whatever, 1200 by 500, so that when you do make your slider 100% width, it takes up 500 pixels of that area. So for now, I'm going to leave it at 1200 by 960, and I'm going to click OK. Excuse me, OK. And I'm going to hit Command V to place that 2 in there, or Control V if you're on Windows. And I want to make this 2, transform it to 500 by, or that's a bit big. Let's set the height, yeah, let's set the height to 500, not the width. There we go. So there's the 2, and awesome, looks good. So now because we have 3 colors and it works so well, I didn't even intend it that way, but it just ended up happening and working really well that when I downloaded this file, it had 3 different shades, 3 different colors. So for this widget, you can have 3 different masks. So that works out really well. So what I want to do now with this widget, or with this these colors, is just ungroup it. Excuse me, this number is just ungroup it. So I'm going to right click, ungroup, and I'm going to first delete all the red, and let's ungroup even more. We can do more ungrouping. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to delete all the red, and yeah, just all the red and the green, because I just want the top part here, and the brown. Yeah, I just want the green. So, and I'm wondering if I did that right. Let me yeah, so I want this green and the top green here, this top green, and this top green. Okay, so I got it now. So I'm just gonna delete. So I don't need that green, don't need that green, and I don't need that green. All right, so there it is. That's all I want for the number 2 right now. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as an SVG. It's important that you go down to SVG, and I'm going to save this as sample mask 3-A, because I have 1-A and 2-A, and now I'm going to click Save. And you can look at these options here. They work really well for me to just save an SVG. You can watch this video and just check out these options and just use these, and they work really well. So yeah, I won't get too much into the options here, but just, you know, if you'd like to look at these and use these, that'd be fine. So I'll click OK, and now that's saved. So now I'm going to undo again. Just undo all of this. Very good. And let me redo that scale. And it's important that you leave the size the same so that your mask works well. And I'll show you that in a second. So now I want to delete all the green. And let me ungroup again. And ungroup again. So I'm going to delete the green and the brown and just leave this red here. All right, so just going to delete, 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 delete. All right, perfect. So there's the two. So I'll go to File, Save As, and I'll save this as Sample Mask 3B. So, and I'll click Save, and I'll click OK. All right, again, one more time, I'm going to undo. And now I just want the brown. So I'm going to redo the ungroup, or yeah, undo, ungroup, and I'm going to, click ungroup, make sure it's ungroup so that I can delete specific areas of it. So now I just want the brown. So I want this brown, and these three browns right here. So I'll just delete that, delete all the red, and delete that. And there we go. That's all the brown that I need. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and SVG Sample Mask 3C, and I'll click Save as SVG. Actually, yeah, excuse me, Files, Save As. Make sure you're on SVG and Sample Mask 3C. There we go. Okay. And then I'll click Save, and I'll click OK. So there are our three sample masks. Excuse me. So if I go to the sample masks here, you can see we have these new masks here. All right, so now I'm going to go back to Adobe Muse. I'm going to go back to this widget, and I'm going to change the mask. Simply where it says here, select first mask, select second, select third. I'm going to just change those to the new masks that I've created. So here they are, 3A, 3B, and 3C. All right, there it is. There's the number 2. Looks really awesome and cool. So if we go, we have a number 2 for the mask. All right, looks really good. And I think the way I added it, I actually, and this is where you can play with it, like I might have to switch B and C so that one mask overlaps the other so that it looks a little bit better. And let's see, yeah, there it is, perfect. So I just swapped out B and C because I wanted one mask to be in front of the other, and so now I'll get the the perfect 2. There we go. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, looks really great. Awesome. All right, and it does take a little bit of playing with, but you can play with different masks, and if you want one mask to go in front of the other, if your shape doesn't look perfect like how you wanted it, it might be because it might be because some mask was behind another mask and you can just swap them out. So then I can flip the different masks, the images differently. I can flip it on the y-axis or the x-axis. I can rotate it, let's say like 210, and you can already see it changing a little bit. I actually like the way it was at 45 because we had a lot of green on the 2. That looks cool. And then we can do like here we can say 190 and let it change there, and we can flip it on the y-axis, and cool. Actually, let me flip it on the x-axis, and cool. That looks really cool. And we can change the easing. I'll change it to ease in out court. There we go. And instead of 1000, I'll change it to 2000, so it's a little bit slower. It's in milliseconds, so 1000 milliseconds equals 1 second, so 2000 milliseconds equals 2 seconds. And I'll change the navigation here. I'll change it to a circle just to show you here. So I'll make it 50, the navigation border radius. Now we have circles. And cool. Instead of outset, I'll say inset. And cool. There it is. And I'll hit Command-Shift-E to preview in the browser. And there's our 2. And it goes a little bit slower. How cool is that? It's just a lot of fun. I mean, I'm super excited about this widget. I had so much fun making it, and it's just a lot of fun. It's really customizable. So if I did want to make it 100% width, Let me just center it in the middle here, or I'll just make it 100% width by clicking the 100% width tool here. And it's going to get really big because it's 1200 by 960. So because I'm using a 960 width website, it's 960 by, let me see the size, or 1160. I'm using 1160 for the width. It's 1160 by 928, and that's why I say if you wanted a full width slider, maybe make it like 1160 by 500 so that it looks really nice if you make it 100% width. Okay, so now I'm going to hit Command-Shift-E to preview in the browser, and we have that big number 2, and we just have this really big prism effect slider. All right, still looks cool when it's big, but you might want to make it a little bit thinner there. All right, very cool. All right, again, so I'm just going to go over the options really quick. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the example there. So again, I'm going to go back to Muse, and yeah, you can just change the width and the height here. 1200 by 960 is what I had it at by default, and you can add more images. You can add up to 8 images, and yeah, just really have a lot of fun with this widget. I mean, you could use it in conjunction with my SVG draw widget and just create like this really cool effect, or like have your logo draw and then have this like really awesome prism effect slider with your logo in 3D, and have people just do a lot of branding that way. I'm actually just thinking of that now, like just do branding with the SVG draw widget, and then like make your logo 3D, or just use the shape of your logo for the prism effect slider, and have and have a few different masks with your logo to have that effect going. And that would be really cool for branding and just making a really cool website. So yeah, I had a lot of fun creating this widget. Again, I think I went over all the options pretty well. There's a user guide if you do decide to download it, and just a few other files in there. So again, I recently updated my shop. So if I go to museforyoushop.com and we click on shop, it goes to the shop area, and here I have all the different widgets that I have. if you click on products, you can click on widgets, animations, icon sets, menus, and you can add, there's a cart now, which is really awesome. So you can click on it, you can click add to cart, and you have your process here. So I have SVG draw, and you can purchase multiple widgets here, and the checkout process is really seamless. You can use PayPal Express checkout, or you can use Stripe. If you just want to pay with credit card or with whatever card, and it's just a really seamless checkout process, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, and you can click on them, and for the ones that I have videos, you can watch the videos on how to use them, and you can share them and all that stuff. It's really cool, and you can preview them, and it'll take you to the preview page. Yeah, this is my SVG draw widget here, and very cool. Yeah, and yeah, I just like looking at this page, so I'm just kind of showing it here. Very cool. And the last here, awesome. Yeah, and if you click on buy now, it takes you back to the shop, or I have to change some links there, so sorry, but we click on shop and it takes you back to the new shop. All right, so we have products, and you can click video tutorials here. I have a blog section where I'm gonna kind of change this a little bit and add more blog pages here, and I'm gonna have a free section. I'm gonna update the free section and have a few free widget. There's one free widget that I'm gonna be offering soon, and a few free animations. So that's the new shop. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about the new widget and the other widgets in my shop. So definitely check them out. Yeah, check out museforyoushop.com. And what else? Yeah, and check out my Patreon page. I'm looking down the line maybe to set up a subscription model where you get access to most of my widgets through Patreon, but I haven't really looked at that yet. So I'm just looking at that. Yeah, and Patreon, check that out. It's just supporting my video process and everything. I'll leave a link here in the video section, and yeah, check out museforyoushop.com. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'm really open to communicating with you. I've been communicating with a lot of you recently, and I've just been having a lot of fun with it. Makes it definitely a more dynamic experience where it's not just me making videos and like, hey, like, here, buy my widget or something. It's actually me communicating with you. And yeah, if you do like the widget, I've made it super easy so that you can just get started with it, and that's why I made this video, so you can just start using it. And there's a great user guide with it too. But yeah, I'm open to communicating with you guys, and definitely having a more dynamic experience with Muse for You and creating websites with Adobe Muse. So that's it for this video tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.